Hello, I'm Cath and this is Made by Cath Craft. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're a regular viewer. It's really great to have you here. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing all of the pieces of fabric that I have sitting uncut and unsewn with in my fabric stash. And you'll know if you've watched my channel for a while, I don't like to keep a large fabric stash. I personally find it a bit overwhelming. So I really do like to buy fabrics and sew them up sooner rather than later. But a couple of these fabrics here I have had for quite a while now, and I'd really like to hatch some plans for them. And this week I've been having a bit of a tidy up of all of my sewing stuff, and I did a bit of an inventory of the fabrics I do have that are uncut and unsewn with. And I thought while I was doing that, why not film a video and talk about each of these fabrics, what I like about them, what I may be thinking of sewing with them. A couple of them I've got some ideas, a couple of them I'm not so sure about, but I thought if I talked about them on here, it might cement some plans. Or as I'm talking through them, if you have any particular suggestions for what I can sew with any of the fabrics, I would love some inspiration. So do drop me a line in the comments below as I go through this video. So I'm really looking forward to talking them all through. Got my little pile here ready to chat about. Before I start talking about my fabrics, I thought I'd mention briefly what I'm wearing today. And today I've got on a handmade t-shirt and a handmade skirt. And I'm finding the last few weeks we've had this sort of in-betweeny weather here in the south of England. We haven't had a great summer so far. I've been finding that I've been wearing a lot of t-shirts and midi skirts, and I found they've worked really well for this weather. So they're sort of my go-to outfit when I get up in the morning and I'm not sure what to wear. So today I've got on two patterns I love. My top I made using a free pattern, the Celanti pattern by French Navy. It's a great pattern, I will link it down below, for kind of like a t-shirt that's not exactly oversized, but not fitted either. So just like a relaxed fit, I'd say. It's got a slight dropped shoulder. I've sort of made these little turn up cuffs. The pattern piece, the sleeve's a little bit longer, so there's enough fabric to be able to turn up. And that's one of the sort of styling suggestions for t-shirts. It's just really nice and relaxed and comfy to wear. And the version I've got on today, I made in a bamboo jersey, which I think is probably my favourite type of material for a nice drapey, comfy t-shirt. Yeah, I love a bamboo jersey. The one I'm wearing today is a black bamboo jersey that I got from Minerva. They have quite a good range of lots of different colours with a 95% bamboo, 5% elastane, and I think it's $11.99 per metre, which I think is a really good price for a bamboo jersey. So I'll link that down below, as well as the Stellan t-shirt pattern. So that's what I've got on top. And then I'm wearing it with one of my favourite skirts, which is a True Bias mauve skirt. I'll just step back so you can see it. And I love this fabric that I made this skirt out of. So yeah, I made this mauve skirt using a hack that's available on the True Bias website to turn into a sort of skirt with an elasticated waist, but with a curved hem. So it kind of curves, dips down at the front and the back. And yeah, I love this skirt so much, especially because of this fabric. It's another Minerva fabric. This one is one of their exclusive viscose challis fabrics. I can't remember the name of it, but again, I'll link it down below. I find because it's got a black base, it goes so well with a black t-shirt, and I love all the pops of colour in it. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. Nice and comfy and perfect for this, yeah, in-betweeny sort of weather we're having at the moment. That's the only way I can describe it. It's a bit blah. But yeah, fingers crossed some sunshine soon. But anyway, now I'll move on to sharing some of my fabrics. So I'm going to just talk through the fabrics in the order that I've got them sitting here in this pile. So I'm going to grab the top one first and start with that. And actually this one that's sitting on the top of the pile is actually one of the more recent fabrics I've bought. I think I bought this one at the beginning of May because I remember it came from Fabric Godmother. And I remember Fabric Godmother having a May bank holiday weekend sale. And yeah, this was one I got then along with another fabric, which I have already sewn up. But this one was a bit of an impulse buy, a bit of an extra. I knew I wanted to get the other fabric and I had in mind what I'd like to sew with the other fabric. And this one, I just saw it, caught my eye because it was also in the sale. I just added it in the basket without having a firm plan for it, which I always find a little bit dangerous. I do find the fabrics I buy because I love them without knowing what I'm going to sew with them are the ones that sort of sit in my stash a little bit longer. And then the longer they stay there, the more I feel a bit of pressure to decide, and it gets more tricky to decide what to sew with those fabrics. But yes, this fabric is a cotton lawn fabric, and it's one of Fabric Godmother's own prints. I think it's called their Pandora Mini Cotton Lawn. I'll link it down below. I think it is still in stock. There is also a larger scale version of this. I think it's also on a cotton lawn base, just the same print in a larger scale. And I've seen it go by on Instagram before, and I had really liked the look of it. And I know a few people have commented, I remember seeing, and saying the sort of print on this reminded them of crochet granny squares, which it does to me too, I think. They do look a lot like crochet granny squares, which is really cute. But also, I feel like this fabric gives me quite summery vibes, because it makes me think about sort of tiles you might see in beautiful places on holiday, like maybe Moroccan tiles. So that's the vibes it gives me, as well as the granny squares. But it's lovely. It's got, I guess, quite a dark base, but lots of colour on it, lots of primary colours, and also this sort of kind of ecru type colour maybe as well. And yeah, I just really loved it. And I have only got 1 metre of this fabric. And it's lovely, soft cotton lawn. I do really enjoy sewing with cotton lawn. It's such a nice fabric to sew with, isn't it? So stable. But I do like wearing cotton lawn too, especially when it's summery. I find it nice and breezy to wear. And I had in mind with this 1 metre fabric that I'd like to make some sort of woven top with it. I thought that would be really nice, and I'd be able to wear it maybe with a pair of black shorts or trousers, or even a pair of jeans. I thought that would be quite versatile. And just something fairly simple to really showcase this print, which I really like. So yes, I've got 1 metre of this fabric. One thing I did think about for this fabric was maybe one of my favourites, which is the cuff top pattern by the Assembly line, which is quite a simple top pattern. And the main feature is the oversized elastic cuffs, but other than that, it's got a boat neck and quite a straight boxy fit. So I thought it would showcase this fabric quite nicely. But I do already have a couple of Assembly line cuff tops in a cotton lawn fabrics already that I enjoy wearing in summer, and I thought, do I really need another one? Would it be more fun to try a different pattern? And I haven't got so far as thinking what different pattern might work really well for this fabric. So I would love any suggestions that you think might work for this fabric, for quite a simple top that would work well with a cotton lawn, for sort of summery style top. I've only got 1 metre, so I need to be able to squeeze whatever it is out of this 1 metre too. So yeah, please do let me know. I'd love some inspiration. I really like this fabric, and I really would like to be able to sew it up, and I think it'll be quite a fun sew. And I hope, because the little squares are quite small, that I'd be able to pattern match even with the 1 metre, fingers crossed, as long as there weren't too many pattern pieces. I hope that would be okay, because it's not like a really large scale pattern to try and match. So that is the first fabric I've got sitting in my stash. And actually the next fabric I've got in my pile is also one from Fabric Godmother. I'll just pop this one down here now and show you the next one. And this one has been in my stash a little bit longer, and it's another one that's quite summery. It's very summery actually, and I'd love to sew up for this summer. So yeah, some inspiration for this one would be amazing. So this is it here, and it's another Fabric Godmother print. This is quite an iconic print of theirs, I think. I'll just unfold it so you can see. I'll hold it up here. And it is their Joni stripe print. This print comes in quite a few different fabric bases and also colours. I think there's also like a navy, a beautiful vibrant green colour, a pink too. But I've got the ivory or cream coloured version here, and this fabric is their viscose lawn Joni stripe fabric. So you can probably see it's got a lovely drape to it. It's really lightweight. It's a little bit sheer. So I think if I made it into a dress, it might need lining, at least on the skirt perhaps. But yeah, it's really lovely and lightweight and floaty, and would be perfect to turn into something for summer. Again, I think this fabric is still in stock. I think it's one they do continue to restock. So I'll link it down below. And actually the reason I have this fabric and it's sitting uncut is because I bought it quite a long time ago with a view to making a top inspired by Lauren from Guthrie Garney. She'd made a top, the Tanita top by Fibre Mood, which is actually a little bit similar to the cuff top. I'll put a line drawing up of the Tanita top in this fabric, and I thought it was gorgeous and I wanted to recreate it. So I ordered the fabric and then I'd cut into it, and it became clear it wasn't the viscose fabric I'd been sent. I'd been actually sent the cotton lawn version of the fabric. So I got in touch with Fabric Godmother and said, I think I've got the cotton lawn instead of the viscose. And they ended up sending me the viscose fabric, which is very kind of them. So I ended up making my Tanita top in the cotton lawn as I'd already cut into it. And then I've ended up left with this fabric and I'm not sure what to do with it. And I don't really want to set up into another Tanita top because I've got my cotton lawn version, which isn't exactly as I'd intended, because obviously cotton lawn is quite a lot crisper and less drapey than a viscose. But I do really like that top. But it has left me now this fabric, and I think I've got 1.5 meters of it, and I just haven't been sure what to sew with it. So yeah, I'm a bit undecided on this one. I mean, part of me thinks because I've already got a top in the cotton lawn, it might be nice to sew something else with this. And part of me thinks maybe a skirt would be really nice for summer. Maybe even the mauve skirt, which is nice. I like how it's got the elasticated waist and you can make it as quite a simple straight skirt, which might work well for this print. I know I talked about this one a while ago and people mentioned I could turn it into a summery pair of trousers. My only worry there is it feels like quite a delicate fabric, and I don't know if trousers with the seams and, you know, the crotch and everything, it might just feel like this fabric's a bit too delicate for it, and I feel like they might not last. I don't know. You know, with a lightweight fabric, sometimes the seams can kind of get a little bit sort of damaged with wear and wash, and so maybe a floaty skirt might work for it better. I'm not really sure. But it's such a pretty fabric. I would love to sew it up. I did also toy with the idea of maybe turning it into a little baby doll dress. I've made a couple of hacks of the Ogden cami. I'll put one of them up so you can see, and I thought that might work quite well too, and I think I'd have just enough with 1.5 meters to be able to squeeze that out, so that might be a nice option as well. But I think because I've got so many different ideas going around in my head for this one, I haven't really been able to decide. I also at one point did think I was going to go ahead with the Ogden cami baby doll style dress idea, and I actually went ahead and bought some lining fabric to be able to use, because I thought if I made the bodice, I need something for the inside. So I bought some just fairly reasonably priced viscose challis from Minerva. I think they have a core viscose challis range that's maybe £3.99 per metre, so great for sort of toiles and also for linings and that sort of thing. And so I got it in this colour, which I think it might be the cream colour, which is an okay match. I think it's slightly more cooler toned. You can see there how this is kind of, it's a bit more of a sort of darker colour when it's put next to this creamy fabric. But it would work fine, I think, for the inside, to line the inside of a bodice. But I just wasn't totally sure on that idea. So now I think I've got a decent amount of this. I thought I'd buy a bit and then it'll be good for wearable toiles anyway. So I've got that sitting uncut in my stash too. And then when I was looking through my inventory of fabric and just seeing what I got, I also found this fabric, which also feels like a viscose fabric and is in a slightly different tone. So like you can see, this one's a little bit more beige and this one's a bit more cream. And I don't even recall where I got that one from. I'm pretty sure this is the one I got from Minerva in the cream viscose challis. So I'm really not sure what this one was bought for, or usually I'm quite good at keeping track of what I've got. So I was quite surprised to find this one. And again, I think it's not a fabric I'd probably sew on its own. I mean, I guess it would make a nice simple cami top on its own if I really wanted to use up and not have it sitting around. It would make quite a nice basic. Or maybe like it would make quite a cute little pair of sort of bedtime shorts or something like that. Or cami and shorts, you know, combination outfit. I've got enough of it maybe to make that for bedtime. But yeah, I just don't know how that ended up in my stash. So I've got these two creamy fabrics and this Joni fabric. They could all work together. I could just keep these ones for making toiles, which would be quite useful. Maybe keep one of them for that at least, because I wouldn't need both for lining this one. But anyway, as you can see, I've got a bit of a little glut here of these light coloured fabrics and this beautiful Joni stripe fabric. If you've got any ideas to help me out, rather than me going from one idea to another and never being quite sure, I would love to hear some inspiration for this one. But yes, that is the second fabric, this lovely Joni stripe viscose lawn, definitely a really summery one. And then these two extra supplementary fabrics, one of which I really don't recall buying. So yeah, I can't tell you where it came from or exactly what it is, but it does feel like a viscose. So anyway, those are the next fabrics I have in my stash. I thought I'd talk about these ones in conjunction with this one because they would work well together. I guess if I made the mauve skirt or a similar type of midi skirt, one of these might work well for a lining for that skirt too, because it is a little bit sheer, and particularly if I was wearing it in the sunlight, the light might shine straight through, so that is an option. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts for these ones. But again, I'll put them down here and move on to the next fabric. So the next fabric I've got here in my pile is a much more wintry fabric. And this is one that I bought in the winter just gone. And I was planning to sew it up, but I didn't get around to it. And then the weather warmed up, so I thought I'd pop it away and get it out this autumn and then sew it up to be able to wear this winter coming, because it is a very wintry, cozy fabric. So I'll unfold it and show it to you. So here it is, which is the right side. Here it is. It is this very lovely, cozy, sort of cable knit style black fabric. Actually, if I hold it up with a layer underneath, you'll be able to see the cable knit better. And this is a fabric that I got from Higgs and Higgs, and I've got the name here so I can make sure it's correct. It's called their Luxe Faux Angora Cable Soft Jersey fabric, and it comes in quite a few different colourways. And it's just lovely and soft and quite drapey, and it does feel quite heavy, and yeah, really cozy. I'll just check so I can tell you the composition of this one. It's 45% viscose, 33% polyamide and 22% polyester, and I'll link the range down below. So I originally saw this fabric and really liked the look of it, and I got it earlier in the winter in a different colourway. I got the pastel pink colour. And I sewed that up into a Megan Nielsen Jarrah sweatshirt, and I'll put a picture up of that sweatshirt I made. I did adjust the pattern slightly. I sort of made the neck a bit larger to create a really snuggly neck. And yeah, played around with the pattern just slightly to get just the sweatshirt I wanted. And I got loads of wear out of this one in the winter. It was so comfy to wear, really cozy. And I really like the sort of texture from the cable knit. So I thought I'd quite like to make another version. I thought a black version would be really useful, particularly because I am quite enjoying midi length skirts, and I thought quite a nice oversized slouchy sweater in black would go with quite a lot of my midi skirts. I could even wear this mauve skirt I've got on today in the winter with some tights and boots, and maybe a sweatshirt I made out of this fabric. So that was my plan. So I think I've got 1.5 meters of this. And I did originally think maybe I should just make the same pattern again and make another Jarrah sweatshirt by Megan Nielsen, just the same as I did for the pastel pink colourway. But actually I've been thinking more recently, that might be a bit boring to have two of exactly the same sweatshirt. And actually when I originally bought the pink fabric, I did have one other pattern in mind that I hadn't tried before. And I was a bit nervous about trying it on the fabric because I didn't want to mess the fabric up. And make something I'd like less than the Jarrah. But I thought actually, since I've made one of those Jarrahs already in this fabric, maybe I should use this opportunity with my second one to try this other pattern. And it's this pattern here, the LB pullover pattern by Paper Theory. I was quite pleased. I got this pattern for free at Christmas time because the Fold line were doing a sort of special offers in the run up to Christmas, which included discount codes, but also a couple of free patterns that were able to download on one day in the countdown to Christmas. So I downloaded this pattern because I know it's a really, really popular one in the sewing community, and I thought I'd like to give it a try. So it is a bit similar to the Jarrah sweatshirt, or at least the view I made with my first lot of this jersey fabric. But I think it has just a slightly different fit to it. I'd like to make this version again with the, sort of, the wider sort of neckline, the sort of funnel neck, to make a really cozy winter sweatshirt. And I just thought it might be fun to try this one and just see, yeah, how it compared to the Jarrah. And I might really like it and I might want to make it again. So I'm thinking I'm going to go with this pattern for this fabric, give it a try, and I'm sure it'll be a nice slouchy, easy to wear sweatshirt. And yeah, it'll just be interesting to compare the two patterns really and see which I prefer. I think it's easy sometimes to go back over and over again to a tried and tested pattern. And sometimes it's just nice to try something new, isn't it? And I know this pattern is really popular. So that is my plan for this fabric. I just need to actually do it. I guess with the weather being, well, it's not super warm at the moment, but it's obviously not sort of cozy sweater weather. So I haven't been thinking about sewing it, but actually if I have a moment where I want quite a simple, straightforward palette cleanser type sew, I think this will be great for that. And then it'll be ready for me to wear when the weather does get cooler again. So yes, that is my plans for that one, Paper Theory LB pullover pattern. I'll link the fabric and also the pattern down below. And then the next fabric is another quite wintry one. And this one is one I've had sitting in my fabric stash, I think a little bit longer than the black cable jersey. I think I got this one earlier in winter and then was really undecided about what to make with it, and winter just passed. And I would like to sew it up because I think it would make a great basic of some sort. So this one is a rib knit jersey fabric. I hold it up so you can see the rib knit and how wide it is. It's a Minerva fabric. It's another one of their core range fabrics, and it's called their Baby Soft Cotton Ottoman rib knit fabric. I'll link it down below. It comes in a sort of range of very pretty colours. They're all quite sort of soft pastel colours. And it's 80% cotton, 15% polyester and 5% elastane. And I got the version, I think it's called Ivory. So yes, it's just a slightly off-white colour. And I bought this thinking I'd like to make some sort of top in it. When I originally bought it, I think I had the idea of maybe making a top similar to the LB pullover initially, kind of like an oversized slouchy top. But when the fabric arrived, it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. I'm not sure exactly what I was expecting, but it isn't super drapey. It sort of stands up a bit, as you can see. And I thought it wouldn't necessarily work well for an oversized top. I think actually it's so lovely and stretchy. Having felt it, I think it would work better as more of a close fitting winter top. So I was thinking for this fabric to turn it into one of my favourites, which is the Till in the Buttons Freya top with the mock turtleneck neckline, which is a top that I just find the fit works really well on me, and I've made loads and I thought that would work. But I do have a Freya top already that is in a kind of this sort of style of colour. It is quite a different fabric. It's more of a Tencel jersey fabric, so less cosy, much lighter weight. So this would fill a different gap in my wardrobe, I guess. But I thought maybe it might be a bit boring, again, to make the Freya pattern, a bit like how I think making the Jarrah might have been a bit boring for the cable knit jersey fabric. So part of me was tempted to try a different pattern. I thought maybe I could make an Agnes top by Till in the Buttons, but with more of a neckline like this, and just kind of make it a kind of winter basic I could use for layering. Maybe like a tank top over the top without the kind of higher neck, and that might be sort of a little less cozy but also still warm for winter. So that was one of my ideas, to make a kind of Agnes style top, only adjust the neckline to make it more of this style neckline. I guess actually I could use the Freya top pattern and just add a neckband instead of a stand-up neckline. That would work too, instead of adjusting the Agnes top from a scoop neckline. But something along those lines, a kind of long-sleeved, cozy, close-fitting jersey top with this sort of neckline. But I am also really tempted, and I've been tempted for quite a while, to try the Nico top pattern by True Bias, just because I've never tried it because I've had the Freya top pattern, but I'd really like to just try it to see how the fit differs from the Freya. I know it's a really, really popular indie pattern as well, so I think that's another option for this fabric. But yeah, I'd definitely like to make a close-fitting jersey top. Let me know what you think would work. Do you think this fabric would be best as a top with a stand-up neckline, really cozy, or do you think it would work well as a slightly less cozy top with this style neckline that I could use the layering piece? I know it does kind of depend on what I want for my wardrobe, but I'm finding it hard to decide, so any thoughts would be very much appreciated. So yeah, I'll link this fabric down below. It's lovely and stretchy, and I like the colour, the kind of being off-white. It's quite a nice sort of warm, sort of soft colour, so yeah, it'd be nice to actually sew this one up again and have it ready for winter. So yeah, let me know on that one. And then we're reaching the bottom of my pile now. Like I said, I haven't got a huge stash, but this is the oldest fabric that is in my stash. And I know I've talked about it on my channel before, and it's just one of those fabrics I really love, and I do want to sew up and just do it justice. So this is the fabric here. This one is a meat milk fabric, and I think it's called their Tencel twill fabric, and it comes in a few different colours. All of the colours have this check design on it, and they have sort of different tones of the same colour. So this one is, I think it might be called forest green or dark green. I will double check the colour and I will mention it down below, and I'll link this fabric down below too. So it's a really lovely fabric. It's definitely quite a wintry one again, not only in the colours, but also it's got a bit of weight to it, being a twill fabric. So although it is kind of, I'll hold it up a bit better, as you can see I've overlocked the edges in this red, which makes it look quite Christmassy. It's got a lovely drape to it, as you can see, but it isn't lightweight like a viscose challis. It is definitely a bit more substantial. And I think I always had an idea, I think I might have 2 or 2.5 meters of this fabric, so quite a decent amount. And I always had the idea that I'd like to turn it into some sort of wintry dress. I think it'd be really cozy. It's lovely and soft and drapey, so it'll be lovely for a winter dress. But yeah, also quite cozy, and it has got that weight to it. So yeah, it's one I have been umming and ahhing about. I think in one video I asked for ideas, and lots of people gave me lovely ideas, and then I wrote a list of all of them and still couldn't decide. But I would love to sew this one up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and sew up a couple of the other fabrics that are in my stash at the moment and be really decisive on them, and then hopefully I'll be feeling really decisive and ready to decide what to make with this fabric too, because it is such a nice one, and I think once I've got it sewn up into a dress of some sort, I think I'll get a lot of wear out of it in the winter time. So yes, that is the plan, and that is the final fabric in my stash. So as you can see, there aren't too many fabrics currently sitting uncut and unsewn in my stash, and they are all fabrics I really do love and I would love to sew up into clothes and be able to wear. So definitely some inspiration there for some future sewing plans, and I'd love you to, like I said, let me know down below if you have any suggestions for any of those fabrics. I'm always very appreciative of ideas, so yes, that'll be amazing. I'd also love to know how big your stash is. Do you like to keep it quite small like I do, or do you like to have a lot of fabrics there to provide you with inspiration and different project potential whenever a project pops into your head? I would love to find out. Do drop me a line down below. But yes, I'll make sure to link all of the fabrics and patterns I've talked about in this video. And thank you so much for watching, I do appreciate it. And if you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, then please do. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for another video again soon. In the meantime, I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.